Hello and welcome to this preview show for the Map of the Year Series 2020 with me, BonBonB. I'm BonBonB, you're very welcome. Well, what a year 2020 has been. Some would say not a particularly good one. But one thing that hasn't suffered in 2020 is the standard of map making in City Skylines. Over the last 12 months, I have done 286 map reviews and given out 2,825 stars throughout those reviews. 885 of those were for detail, 943 for gameplay, and 997 for aesthetics. Of those 286 maps, 85 got the seal of approval, and I've managed to whittle that list down to a final long list of 19 maps for the Map of the Year series. Now the thing is, the Map of the Year series is 6 shows long, featuring 2 maps in each show. Meaning that I've got to have a final shortlist of just 12 maps. I need to whittle those 19 down by another 7. Now the first way I do this is by looking for creators that have got duplicate maps, 2 maps in the final list. And there are actually 2 creators that managed to achieve that this year. So I've managed to knock 2 maps on the head, one of which was a very strong candidate for Map of the Year itself, such was the calibre of that creator. More about that creator though when we get to their actual final map. What about this map? The one you're looking at right now. Is this our very first candidate? The answer is, well, no. It's none of the above actually. This map, currently number 1 on Christmas Day, is Date, Japan, by some obscure creator I've never heard of before. Now, it hasn't actually been reviewed on the show and as such doesn't qualify to be shortlisted. Otherwise, this clearly is the Map of the Year. No questions asked. Let's get on with the first of our long listed maps, shall we? Now, the very first one is based on a real life location in Portland, Oregon. It was released on the 21st of November of this year and currently has 1,431 subs. This is Willamette, Portland by Kozí. This is Kozí's 7th and most recent map, all of which have been made since September of this year. So fairly prolific and clearly improving in their standards all the way along. Real life location, as I've said already, Portland, Oregon. Featuring, and I'm sure I'm mispronouncing Willamette, but I'm doing my best for you, Willamette River. It requires 16 items from the workshop, which is a medium list, but certainly not too heavy at all. And has some really stunning, glorious waterways, which you'll see in a little bit more detail when we pull the camera back at the end of the flyover. It's not all about the main river. We have lots of tributaries and some great forests as well. There's loads and loads of buildable space. And also the ugliest real-life big old bridge I've seen this year. And that's fine. That's not any fault of Kozí. I've had a look on Google Earth and that really, I assumed that this bridge was a custom built bridge, and it's actually as close a recreation of the bridge I think you're going to actually get within City Skylines. You're not really going to see it today. The links to this map and to all of the other map and the reviews are all in the description of this video, so do feel free to go and check out the original review or even just load up the map directly and have a look yourself. It's a glorious bridge, an absolute glorious construct. This particular map I gave 13 stars, which is a very strong score, 4 for aesthetics, 4 for detail, and a big old 5 for gameplay potential. So much good with this. I mean, look at these intersections. They just free-flowing, beautiful, smooth intersections. We've got great looking forests, and while there is no transition between the forests and the unpainted land, it still feels very natural and very clean and very crisp. And you can see there we do have a couple of everybody's favourite factories there. And no, I'm not singing today. I'm not. Oh, okay. Everybody's favourite factory. There we go. I've done it. Leave me alone. We've got, here we go, in the forest, you see all of these little waterways tucked away in the forest. How you'd want to work these into a city build, I don't know, but there are some great assets on the workshop, including water mills and stuff that maybe you could do something a little bit special. Big old forestry industry going on up here as well. Some great ideas that you could really work into this map. Very, very lovely map. Maybe pull back, spin the camera back and pull back and give you an overview of the entire map. Reviewed in WhatsMap 1088. Willamette, Portland by Kozí. There's no real reason why this didn't make the final shortlist. It really was. The problem with this sort of map, with the river and the green, and we've got lots of forests and rivers, there's a lot of competition and it makes it very tough to break into. But an excellent map, and no reason why you shouldn't subscribe to it. I would right away if you like the look of it. Then on to our second of our 5 maps today. This one was posted on the 16th of June and currently has a massive, and I mean massive, 8,783 subs. This one is the creators' 5th map, but the only one they've made this year. This is Nomasburg by Sanctum Gamer. And if the name Sanctum Gamer means anything to you, that's because they have a YouTube channel. And they're not half bad with their YouTube as well. Definitely worth having a look at their channel if you're into city builds, because, well, they're good. They're very, very good indeed. So let's talk a little bit about this particular map. Well, it's got a real realistic vibe to it, but it has somewhat in the way of fantasy mountains, true fantastical mountains. I don't really buy into the realism of the mountains, but aesthetically they really work very nicely with the map indeed. We've got a really lazy, slow-flowing river. Again, that is not lazy as in the creator hasn't gone to any effort. Lazy in the way that the river acts. It's just a gentle flow, barely moving really, and so you may have to find other ways of disposing of your sewage. Including the theme and the LUT, this map requires just 5 items from the workshop. That's virtually vanilla. Virtually. We've got a really, really nice map here that may well have actually made the final shortlist, but for, well, two minor little grumbles. The problem with minor little grumbles is, if they're tucked away on the edge of the map, you won't notice. But for me, these minor grumbles are just, well, they're right under the nose. Right there by the start square, right in the middle of the map, and right where every single item of traffic coming into your city is going to go straight through them. As you're going to see, I thought it was possibly the way that I originally loaded up the map, but here we are with a reload of the map, a complete resubscription, and we've got missing bridge pillars right here on the suspension bridge, and we've got there's a little highway ramp down here, which is just got a little bit of terrain problems underneath it, and so it's slightly angled just down here on the left hand side where these lanes merge. But other than that, these aren't big problems. This map didn't make the final 17 for no reason whatsoever. There you go. That's what I'm talking about there. Not horrendously huge problems, very easy to fix, and so I wouldn't overlook this map. That's all I can come up with for this map as being reasons why not to subscribe, and they're not reasons not to subscribe. Reviewed in WhatsMap 968, Nomasburg got 13 stars, 4 for aesthetics, 4 for detail, 5 for gameplay potential, and is very lush indeed. What's next though? What next? Another very lush map. Lots of greenery going on with this one. Some more realistic hills than in the previous map. So this will suit the true realists out there a little bit more than the previous one. It was posted on the 5th of April of this year and currently has 958 subs. This is Fairhaven by 4T2. Reviewed back in WhatsMap 913. Now this is this creator's second map, but the only one they've made this year. Their very first map also got the seal of approval, so they clearly have some excellent skills going on. Fairhaven is a realistic feeling twin river basin with soft ridged hills, as you can see here. There's a little light feature detailing here and there, all to the very highest of standards, including the castle on the hill, 2 long jetties going out into the bay, and of course the essential lighthouse. But ignoring the map completely, if you saw the review, episode 913 of What's Map, you'll remember the largest asset we've ever seen on the show. It's a side note if you just want to see an asset that is so massive it belies belief. Do go and check out the review 913 of Watts map for the biggest asset we ever had. But back to the map. Why isn't this map on my final shortlist of 12? Well, first again, it's obviously up against a lot of competition. These green river valley maps with a little bit of coastline. There's a lot of really good ones out there, and this one would count. And it becomes a question of why shouldn't I include a map on the final list rather than why should I? And for this one, there was one little thing that broke my immersion from the map. Again, it's nothing that would stop me from playing it at all, and nothing that should stop you from playing it either. But there's a little coastal anomaly. Oh, I love the waterway here, by the way. I love the way this interacts with the highway, and just goes off on its own little wave, a little lakey type area. But yes, the geology along the coastline just doesn't quite feel right. Where this island ahead of us, you'll see, those two long jetties I promised you, and the essential lighthouse at the end of the island. But the island just doesn't look natural the way that it's broken away from the mainland, along with the little island right next to it on the right hand side there. Geologically speaking, it broke my immersion, but it's still a really lovely map, and of course you're quite within rights to disagree with me. Fairhaven got 14 stars from me, 4 for aesthetics, 5 for detail, and 5 for gameplay. And so on to our next map. This one was posted originally on the 13th of March and currently has 2,167 subscribers. Not only that, it's
my first map.
That's right. Cosy Cops, which I think is close to the correct Czech pronunciation. I'm sorry, creator, if I've gone and butchered you again. Cosy Cops, by HypoSim, was reviewed in Watts map 890. This is a lush map, and again, just looking for reasons not to include a map on the final list is so difficult. It's amazing. It's slightly undulating, so not one for those who want a perfectly flat map. It's a little bit challenging without being beyond playable. It's just gentle hills, and straying into larger hills as well. We've got some great quality as well running throughout here. We've got a massive 56 requirements off of the workshop, which does include the theme mixer, railway replacer mod, the theme, the LUT, and all of that, along with a load of assets, which, as you can see from the rail, we have got these raised viaducts, and they have been done beautifully. When 56 items are required off of the workshop, sometimes you question why so many items were used, and are they really needed? And then you get a map like this where you go, well, there's a lot of things to subscribe to, but do you know what? It's absolutely worthwhile. Really lovely map, and of course that's why it's on my final long list. Why didn't it make the final short list? I don't know. I just can't have every map in the final 12. Possibly had too many things to subscribe to, but that's not really a reason to not be on the list. We've had maps with way more than 56 in that final list before. It is a very, very nice map. I will just say that. It is a very, very nice map. And on another year, it probably may have made that final 12. So there we go. Cosy Cops by HypoSim with some lovely castles, and just base detailing is absolutely superb. We have got 14 stars for this map, 5 for aesthetics, 5 for gameplay. I gave 4 for detail. And that is an absolute beaut of a My First map. Well done, HypoSim, for that one. Which leaves us with one final map. And if anything, this is a little bit controversial. I accept it. It's just a little bit controversial. Posted on the 18th of April, currently with 1,847 subs. This is Grimsoy by Ingenium, as reviewed in Watts map 966. Now, this is the second of the 3 maps that Ingenium has made, all of which were this year. And I think this is my favourite Snowfall map of all time. Now, it has been pushed very close by Geno. I accept that Geno is a beauty of a map as well in terms of Snowfall. But there's something about the terrain on this map that just makes that backdrop a little bit more striking. And there is actually plenty of build space on this map, which you can't make out just yet, but once we go around the corner and have a look from the other direction, you'll see that there's plenty of room to build into. Yes, it's not a map for everybody. Those people that don't like Snowfall or don't have Snowfall, this map is a no-go for you. But it's a map that gave me a true dilemma. You see, this is one of those creators that has 2 maps on the final list. And the other one, Saint-Louis, which was released very late in the year and was a late contender for Map of the Year, well, that was exceptional as well. I decided to go with this one because, well, it is in its category. I think this is the best. And so I really needed to showcase this one and not just have it like dusted under the carpet. So, an absolutely lovely map. I gave this one 5 stars for aesthetics, 4 for detail, and 4 for gameplay potential. And it is really lush indeed, isn't it? But yes, Saint-Louis had to be knocked off of that list. If you're interested in having a look at that, yes, that one's on my map list. Link to the map list is in the description, as always, along with every other map that's ever been reviewed on the show. Grimsoy by Ingenium, the final one of my shortlist maps that just didn't quite make the final cut for the final 12 maps of the year. Exceptional work, every last one of these, you know. Which means we're going to soon fade to those closing images, and I've got to say to you, if you've found this entertaining or informational in any way, shape or form, do remember to hit that like button. Of course, the subscribe really does help as well, and also the notification bell if you really want to go the whole hog. I'll be back on Monday with the very first of our finalists. The first 2 maps of my final 12. Don't miss it. Notification bell. Don't miss it. Final hint, notification bell. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you very, very soon.